Hello, my name is Tiago Quintana. It's a pleasure to be here. And this is my short story, The Sorrow Song Nights and the Nightingales Tune. Tristegar, the sorrow song nights rode into the night. The black maned steed Shadow Silk, easily keeping pace with its rider's desperation. He rode aimlessly, guided only by moonlight shine on a marble road surrounded by trees ancient and wild, for he was chased by impossible dreams, and the line between dream and derangement is only as thick as one's heart. He might have ridden forever if not for bird song, the sad ballad of nightingales he suddenly heard. He didn't know where it came from, or how he could even hear it, lost as he had been in Shadow Silk's gallop. But for a brief moment, the quiet desperation that shrouded him was lifted, and he stopped and listened. It sounded nothing like the common song of nightingales to Tristegard's ears, though he knew little of such things, and in its effect, it sounded like no bird song he had ever heard. It made him remember things he had never seen before, dreamlike visions of a dozen white ships, their decks covered with 1,000 black roses, sailing into the ocean's mist. The song wasn't one of joy or cheer. It offered neither hope nor succor, but it did offer kinship and understanding, the comfort of knowing that no pain was absolute or ineffable, for even birds could sing of it. The singing started to grow fainter, and Tristram became fretful and upset. Moving almost without conscious thought, he dismounted and followed the fading bird song deep into the woods, leading Shadow Silk by the reins as they made their way through the trees as best as they could. It didn't take them long to step into a wide clearing with a pond in the center, its clear waters perfectly mirroring the night sky. Tristram had hoped to finally see the elusive winged minstrels, but only their melody, now clearly audible once more, still marked their presence. He had no time to be disappointed. He was astonished to see another person there, someone in a mask and dressed in a jester's costume, a patchwork of bright, vivid colors with tiny bells hanging everywhere, dancing what looked like a circle dance all by themselves. Such an energetic dance meant for a whole circle of people to outdo each other in displaying good cheer. Who was the fool? Why did they dance? The sorrow song knight didn't know. Despite himself, Tristram stood mesmerized. The jester's mask, smooth and alabaster white, had no features, not even openings for the eyes and mouth, which were painted on in red and black in an obscenely happy expression. They must have been unable to see anything, but they danced on. Hidden atop the trees, the nightingales still sang, a song manic and despairing, the wailing of those who had everything taken from them, even their very selves, and their suffering was still at its rawest. Even the jester cried, for Tristram could hear it, though they didn't stop dancing. The song shouldn't have matched such joyful movements, and yet it did. To Tristram, it almost seemed, what an absurd notion. The birds serenaded the dancer. The nightingales were still nowhere to be seen. Why didn't they show up? Why didn't they stop singing? The sorrow song knight didn't know. The jester saw Tristram. Tristram's breath caught in his throat for reasons he didn't understand. But the jester didn't stop. Instead, they gestured for him to join them. They never stopped dancing, even when the knight simply stood still. On and on the fool danced, the rattling of the bells somehow matching the riffing of the nightingale's tune perfectly, as birds and buffoon together performed. For who? Themselves? The world? The sorrow-song knight felt like an intruder, and anger grew in his chest. Dance, fool, dance. Dance the sadness and the madness of this world, but hide your own pain behind a mask. Your happiness is ugly, but your sadness offends me. Your tears make me feel powerless. Me, who bears the world's grief, but abandons my brother to his pain. Why do you still dance, fool? Sing, nightingales, sing. Sing the lamentations of the lost and lonely, too afraid to walk the road ahead, too desperate not to try. Fly, nightingales, fly. Why do you fly hidden among the trees? You will never reach the moon, pitiful birds. You can only escape your dreams. What use does a knight and his sword have for your wings, for your singing, for you? It's the sword that protects, that sword that avenges. Why do you still sing, nightingales? Why do you still dance, fool? Whether you sing or dance, the world won't change. Whether you sing or dance, the world won't change. Tristega, the sorrow-song knight, groggily opened his eyes as sunlight mercilessly fell on them. The sight of shadow silk happily chewing on grass nearby greeting him to wakefulness. When had he fallen asleep? He didn't know, but despite spending the night in his armor without blanket or bedroll, he felt hale and hearty, restored in body and soul. He breathed in deeply, filling his lungs, his very being, with the exhilaration of feeling alive. He went to wash his face on the waters of the pond. As he did so, he slowly remembered last night's dream, for it must have been a dream, a flight of fancy from a half-awakened mind at most. Slowly, he remembered the fool with the patchwork outfit and the grotesque caricature of happiness that served as their mask. Remembered the way they moved in their dance, exuberance only heightened by grace, and their invitation to join in. Remembered the song of the nightingales filling the night, melodies that captivated his soul from the moment he first heard them. He remembered the anger, the rage he had felt. Who had been the fool? The sorrow-song knights no longer knew. Thank you, it's been a pleasure.